Okay.
Testing.
You gonna squeeze in that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably gonna leave that way.
Hmm?
Probably gonna leave that way.
Okay. So stayed on spirit. Go ahead and listen to her rhythm. Then you go ahead and we'll come in.
Mm-hmm. I did this session. It was last Thursday.
You did what?
A session at the studio. That song "Slow Dance." I don't know if you remember that.
I don't
It's
remember that.
come out really fantastic. It's got the steel guitar. Anyway, we
So you have all your bass parts, right? I mean, you don't. Wendy's laid it down all the bass parts.
yeah, Wendy's did
That's
that.
good. That's good.
So anyway, the end of it needed more build-up. So Paul and I discussed what to do. What we ended up doing was I played an electric guitar, same part as this acoustic thing. It's a run on ba 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 ba. It's in 3/4, and then put in the organ and one little string part, and it really increased the dynamics at the end. It's a build-up,
And sometimes
crescendo.
it's what you don't do too.
That's right. And we do that in the song.
Negative space.
Yeah, there's one part where it all drops out after the steel guitar solo. Drops down to just piano, bass, and lead vocal. Very effective. It's come out. I mean, it's a very simple song. You're 1/6 minor, 4/5. What's more common than that?
What is it?
You know, like it's like C, A minor, F, G. Yeah, I mean.
And then you do
That's a very common.
and 5/4 time.
No, it's regular. It's 3/4. It's a waltz. Slow dance.
Oh boy, so you got a skinny turnout today. Okay. I wonder why. I will not take it personally.
Good thinking, man.
Yeah, we won't take it. Huh. I think today was the Hawaiian shirt day. I got the memo. You did not.
No, I didn't get
You
it.
didn't get the memo.
I did not.
See, everybody. Yeah, you. This young lady, Hillary. Yeah. Where'd you live in? Yeah, where'd you live in Hope? Boy, that'd be something. Give Lay's here.
Okay, good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I got the notice. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Javon. Glad you're here. So welcome to those of you in the room and those of you out there in virtual land. My name is Reverend Julia Robles-Scott, and I am delighted to be your bridge minister. Thank you for being here. And so I will invite us to stand for our first two community songs.
Okay. We're waiting for our other singer right now. Why Thank you. Okay.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You love everybody in your heart. Stayed on spirit. You love everybody in your heart. Stayed on spirit. You love everybody in your heart. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Song number 4. Everybody in your mind. There we go.
Stayed on spirit. Love everybody in your heart. Stayed on spirit. Love everybody in your heart. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. This morning with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Standing, please. We have one more song. If you're able, remain standing.
Be happy.
Welcome to those of you who have shown up during our songs and those of you out there on Zoom or Facebook or YouTube. Thanks for coming out on another warm day. It's good to have you here. And it is my pleasure to remind us of who we are. We're a radically inclusive spiritually progressive community that celebrates the diversity of creation. We aspire to live authentic spiritual lives through the teachings and practical applications of the science of mind and spirit. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. And so I would like to ask our wonderful practitioner, Rev Lanny, to participate in lighting the candle for us. And so we light this candle to celebrate the unity of all peoples, all faiths, all beings, all life, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, the seen and unseen, and to remind us of the light of spirit within us all. Thank you. And as we do on Sundays, it's time to just ask, what's alive in you this morning? Freedom. Freedom, all right. I love that. Love. Enthusiasm. I didn't know that about you. Growth. I hide it carefully. Right. Gratitude. Did I miss one, Maxine? I just said growth. Oh, growth. Anybody else? Joy? Blessings. Wonderful. Visioning, yes. Today's visioning day. Did you say something, Hillary? Joy. Yeah, all right. Well, wonderful. Since you're feeling so joyous, Hillary, I'm going to invite you up to share the announcements with us. Thank you.
No, that'd be a lesson too.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Hillary Dart, and all of this information is available in our weekly newsletter, e-newsletter. You can sign up for that on our website, sierracenter.org, or by leaving your name and email address in our guest book in the foyer. Event sign-up sheets and flyers are also available in the foyer, and you can always email office@sierracenter.org with any questions or requests. And here are a few highlights from what's coming up, or what's going on. Today after service, please remain to begin the process of visioning for a new senior minister, both in person and by way of Zoom. And Reverend Lanny is facilitating our second poetry open mic on Friday, July 28th at 6:30 p.m. in person or via Zoom. And if you missed the earlier Revealing Newness Group Healing Workshops, Reverend Julia will facilitate another workshop on Sunday, July 30th after service. And the book study circle, The Energy Codes, is meeting every Tuesday from 1:30 to 3 p.m. You can join us in person or by way of Zoom. Drop-ins are welcome. And that's it for today. Thank you.
Whoops. Thank you, Hillary. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Oh, Danny boy.
I got caught on the chair. Yeah. Okay, where are we? What's alive in me today? Oh, thank you. Thanks, Juanita. Back on track. Okay, so prayer is available today by Rev Lanny after service if you're in need. Also, there's some lavender sheets in the seat backs in front of you. If you would like to fill out a prayer request and put them in that brown box over there, the ministers and practitioners get together and pray for those each week. Also, there are some pencils and 3x5 cards. You might want to take some notes today. Hint, hint. Assignment coming up. All right, so let's see. Feels good to be here. Oh, yes, thanks. Just so you know, I'm a little tired. We have got a lot going on, and I'm learning how much prep it takes for classes and book studies. And that book study is amazing. Anybody here in the book study that, wow, we are liking it. It is, you are welcome. If you haven't been and you still want to join us, I highly encourage it. All right. So, is anybody here for the first or second time? Carol! Well, welcome, Carol. We're so glad you're here. And Carol is a religious scientist from Sacramento, and she's moved up here, and she's in our 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life class. So great to have you, Carol. Okay, let's see. And now it's time for another community song, and then I will pass the mic to Rev Lanny for our sacred reading.
Home song.
We'll call that sing along. Raise on a roof, survey high, butterfly. This cloud blew past my head. I know why the skies all cry. Everybody. The earth turns slowly round, far away, the distant sound is with us every day. Can you hear what it sings? Everybody take a note and go up like this.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm Reverend Lanny Howard, and today's reading is If by Rudyard Kipling, adapted for gender inclusivity. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all people doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave to your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all people count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distant run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be free. And so it is.
Thank you, Rev Lanny. And now it's time for our inward shift. So I invite us to get comfortable in our chairs. And Rev Lanny is going to come back up and talk about our community value and take us into our meditative time together.
So our community value for today is authenticity. And that means we need to be who we are. And I was thinking about this because I read the Science of Mind magazine every month, and there is a contributor called Stephanie Swink. And she used to work with Heal Your Body. What is her name? Louise Hay, thank you. She worked with Louise Hay for many, many years, and she's a practitioner, and she writes a column. And until this month, or might have been last month, her picture was like one of those glam shots from the 90s. Remember those? But this month, there she is with gray hair, just sort of frizzed out, with her glasses on, and she looks like who she is now, right? But for all those years, it was like, this glamour puss, and now she is who she is. And it's sort of like, during the pandemic, I did not wear makeup. Why bother? Where was I going? But now that I'm used to seeing myself without makeup, I rarely wear it except when I'm here on the platform. Yeah, and that's the only time I wear it. Not much, not a whole lot. But other than that, it's like, this is my face. Get used to it. So it's about being who we are and being our authentic selves. And, eventually this hair will go gray, but I'm doing it gradually. So it's about us being who we are with one another, being transparent with one another, being honest and authentic. So that is our community value. Now I'm going to ring the bowl 3 times, and then we're going to do 3 ohms, and then we'll go into a 5-minute meditation. Breathing in, I remember that which breathes me. That there is a power, an intelligence, a presence that created everything out of itself and is present in all of its creation. All of that love, all of that joy, all of that balance, all of that harmony, all of that peace, all of that creativity, inspiration, grace, beauty, truth, all the words I could ever imagine for the good are present in the infinite allness of the potential energy of life itself everywhere. So I know that it is right here, right now, present in, through, and as me, and in, through, and as everyone in this room, and everyone who hears my voice out in the other areas observing us right now. And so I know that that presence and that power and that divine intelligence is absolutely present in each and every one. And that we are here by divine appointment to come together to hear the truth from Reverend Julia, to sing together, to entrain our hearts and our souls and community, and to remember that we are one. We are one in the one, from the one, returning to the one. And that ultimately, what appears to be chaos leads to a higher form of order. And so we are open to the inspiration, to the divine right action that is ours to take, to contribute to that order, to that beauty, to that truth that wants to be known and experienced in community now. And so with great, great gratitude for the good that I know is unfolding in this moment, with love and with joy, I release my word into the action of the law, knowing that the law says yes and brings it into perfect manifestation. And we affirm this truth together as we say, and so it is. And we have our affirmation for the week. And so we are speaking truth to circumstances this month. So I'm going to speak this affirmation once, and then I invite you to say it with me. I stand in the power and wholeness of spirit that I am. I stand in the power and wholeness of the spirit that I am. And so it is.
Thank you, Evelyn. And now it's time for another song.
One more song.
Thank you.
I hope this goes with your talk.
How many roads must a man walk down shake till he knows that too many people have died. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Thank you, guys. Gosh, I'm sure that's going to go with the talk.
But I love that song. And it made me sad to think about, how many times? How many times is it going to take us? So this month's theme is Speaking Truth to Circumstance. And today's title is The Wise Warrior. So who is this wise warrior? The wise warrior is a practitioner of truth, a person that stands in power with poise, who looks out and sees what needs to be done, but with no fight necessary. When I was sitting here a few minutes ago, I remembered the warrior pose in yoga, so I will demonstrate. But see how grounded, solid, standing on truth, right? So there's a quote in our Science of Mind textbook, and it says, "One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority." Pretty powerful, huh? So the wise warrior, what they do is they recognize that there is only one and that we're one already, and they bring that recentering process back into oneness. It's that consciousness that the wise warrior brings. And what we know is everything that's going on out there is a reflection of our consciousness. So I don't know about you, but I don't watch the news. I mean, people tell me what's going on. But I do know that there's a lot going on, right? It's like, gosh, I chose to come to this time on the planet for a reason. And what is mine to do, right? So Einstein reminds us that we can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness that created the problem. So what ours to do is change our thinking, our consciousness, our perspective, our beingness. If we want to change the world, we've got to change us. And it's good to remember that we can't change it all at once, that there's this thing as human beings that we go through, which is called time. And so what is ours to do? Edwin Gaines advises us to find our divine purpose by looking carefully at the world and pick one thing that we feel needs transforming, something that would be fun for us to get involved in, to help repair, shift, restructure, fix, or perfect. Notice fun. She put fun in there. And fun is the attribute of joy that is a part of God. And it's within us, right? So if we're looking out in the world and, my gosh, thinking, oh my gosh, that's horrible, which is, there's a lot of horrible things going on, and we think, I've got to do something about this. But if we're coming from it with an energy of, oh my gosh, how will this ever happen? This is way beyond what is possible. It doesn't come with that energy of fun, right? So remember, when you choose what it is yours to do, we've got to have fun doing it. And when we bring our consciousness of knowing that we are the divine in individualized expression, and that we're using the law of cause and effect every moment, we can consciously choose to treat for that which we want the world to be. But it all starts in here. So one of our great philosophers, Plotinus, said, I do not argue, I contemplate. And as I contemplate, I let fall the seeds of thought into the mirror of mind, which then becomes the mirror of matter. And we know this, right, just by looking at our teaching symbol, that our thoughts go into the fertile soil of the subjective mind, and then they show up as our reality. So, because we know this, it makes no sense whatsoever to try to change outward conditions by fighting against something. So when we know what it is that we're feeling called to do, and we say yes to that, this is a really important key. We don't go fight against it. I mean, we may feel that naturally. Of course, we're angry about it. It's horrible. But then we need to redirect that anger to be for something. So just imagine, right? I want you to feel the shift and the difference between being against something and for something. So imagine standing on the overpass bridge and you're fighting against something. There's this anger within you, and you feel righteous because you're wanting to make something better. So let's just use the example of war. We're out there protesting the war. And just imagine yourself doing that and see what it feels like inside of you. Okay? And now, imagine this, that instead of fighting against the war, you're standing on the bridge or walking through the town because you are for peace. See what that feels like inside of you, being for peace, right? For me, it feels like a whole different energy. So that's a little clue of how we create a world that works for all. Because as religious scientists, we know that when we fight against something, we bring about more of it. You've heard that saying, right? What we resist persists. Because the subconscious mind only knows to say yes. And so if I say, I don't want war, it only hears war. And that's what we create more of. So a perfect example of fighting against something and how it doesn't work is the war on drugs. The war on drugs has not brought us the effects that we want. In fact, recently, the New York Times printed that 110,000 Americans died from drug overdose in 2022. That's a lot. And I think about that, right? And I look at everything that's going on in the world, and I'm like, what in the world has happened? It's really sad. But the thing that has happened is the thing that has always been, that we forgot who we are. We came to the planet to do these things, whatever it is ours to do. But we've got to remember the truth of who we are. We've got to wake up. When we redirect our anger and channel it into desire to make a positive difference in the world, we have the backing of the infinite power and presence of the One. We stand on Shiva, that we talked about last week, the destroyer of illusion. And we know the back of every horrible circumstance, there is a divine power and presence. So that's our work. Our work is to see rightly and center ourselves in this truth, that behind every horrendous circumstance, there is a divine power and presence. We often hear in our center that the news shows us what we need to be praying for. And I just want to remind us that if we aren't consciously praying for that which we want, the default mode is collective consciousness. And I like to call it the collective unconscious. So it's up to us to take that responsibility for creating a world that works for all by actively, consciously treating for the world that we want to see. Aman Motwani, in his book, You Can Change the World, who also wrote the book, Creating a World That Works for All, invites us to change how we see the world. And be prepared to get your pencil and paper out. He invites us to see the intrinsic worth of every person we encounter. And by doing this alone, we'll improve our interpersonal relationships. And the world is made up of relationships. So here's the 3 focus practices that he's inviting us to do. Number 1, instead of focusing on how little time we have, focus on how to make the most of what little time we have with every person. Number 2, instead of focusing on what you want to see instead of focusing on what you see on the outside of a person, focus on the person within. See both the pain and potential within them. Number 3, instead of focusing on what's wrong with a person, focus on what makes them right. See their strength within their weakness. I heard you laughing out there. So that's something probably every one of us could do today. Focus on what's right with the person that really press our buttons. So the wise warrior knows it's not our power that makes the change, but it's the power of the divine within us that we are co-creating with that makes the change. And as our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. So let's use it for good. The good news is that all we have to do is wake up and remember who we are. And when we awaken to our truth of oneness with the divine and that we're all that, we make different choices, we make better choices to create a world that works for all. Those of us who are studying the energy codes, we're reading from Dr. Sue Morter, and she's inviting us to remember that we're all energy, that everything is energy, that we're all connected by this energy field. And so I decided to start practicing that when I look out and I see you, to remember that I'm looking at an energy being and that we're all connected. And so in my mind's eye, I've been practicing just seeing us in this field of energy. And it makes me more aware that my thoughts are affecting every single one of you. So the wise warrior sees rightly. And I invite us to think about that this week. Last week we talked about the goddess Kali. She destroyed the demons, right? She was standing on Shiva, the destroyer of illusion. And we can think of our thoughts as those demons, those thoughts that keep us in a mindset of separation, of duality, of me versus you, or us versus them. Those are the demons. The truth is that we know there's only one power, one presence, one life, and that we are living it. It is that power, presence, and life that is Spirit in, through, and as us. And we get to live this good God life every day. When I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to live God's life again. What a blessing. And I get to because every breath I take is that breath of the infinite breathing me. And so there's a shift in consciousness I want us to embody. And it's going from thinking of ourselves as separate to remembering that we aren't separate. We are one. And in order to do that, we need to wake up to our spiritual magnificence and create a world that works for all. We get to do it by having fun. Don't forget the fun. Boy, I've been really telling myself that all week, and it's really important to find that balance, especially when we're out there working for some really good changes in the world. It can feel a little tiring. So go have fun. My brother was here from the Bay Area yesterday, and he asked me to go see Oppenheimer last night. Has anybody seen that? Wow. Well, somehow I missed history when I switched from high school to another high school. And so I'm continuing to learn history, and it was fascinating, this story about the guy who helped invent the atom bomb. And it was interesting to watch him struggle with the moral dilemma of what he was doing. But there was this race to create the atom bomb, because if we didn't create it first, the Germans might create it first, right? So it was us versus them, us against them. It's this race to be, I'm just thinking about this right now, better, stronger, more powerful than the other person, the other country. That's such an illusion. There's only one of us. And when they dropped that bomb, Oppenheimer, he was a visionary. He would see things. And he saw the effects of that decision that our leaders made to do that. And he felt horrible. He felt like he had blood on his hands. And so then what he did was he started imploring, speaking. He did whatever he could for our leaders to think about going for making that hydrogen bomb. Like, maybe that's not the best thing to do, And so he switched his focus, and he stood in his truth. He knew the right thing for him, what his work was to do. And so many people were against what he was saying, but he had to say it. He had to be himself. It was his to do. The things we do to ourselves, huh? But the good news is that we can choose again. We can see the world rightly with our spiritual vision. We can see that we are not separate. We're in this beautiful blanket of the sea of love and light. And when we can see with our spiritual eyes, then we can make different choices. So one of the things that we can do is take time to vision. What is it that is Spirit's highest idea for your life? And say yes to that. Contemplate what Spirit's greatest idea as your life is, and simply allow yourself to be the willing vessel. Let Spirit have its way with you, and watch with amazement how the universe makes clear the way before you to live your greatest purpose and do what you've come here to do to bless the planet. In closing, I'll leave you with this quote by Max Dupree. The greatest thing is, at any moment, to be willing to give up who we are in order to become all that we can be. So it is. Thank you. And now it's time for our community song. The woman that wears the most hats in all the land.
And we're going to invite everybody to stand. Yes? Please stand. All you need is love.
All you need is love. You intro it. Steve.
Redundancy. Love, 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 love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. There's no one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you inside. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
Take it away, Steve. Third
Nothing
verse.
you can know that
Very
can't
good.
be known. There's no one you can see that isn't shown. There's no way you can read where you were meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 'Cause you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, 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 yeah.
Woohoo! Yay! Thanks, guys. Okay, let's see. Let's stay standing. It's time for our prosperity affirmation. All right. Caught you before you sat down. But, okay, so I'll say it out loud first, and then we'll say it together. I give this, wait, no, let's just all say it together. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Now you may be seated.
Keep going.
Thank you for your gifts, but most of all, thank you for your gift of your presence. And so I bless these gifts knowing that they are the energy of God in form, that energy that is the oneness of all of life. It has moved through us, as us, and these gifts are the result of that allowing of that infinite good to show up here today. And so I know that these gifts are blessed and that the giver is blessed beyond measure, that within each one of us lies the kingdom. All we need and more is already within us. And so I say thank you for these gifts. Knowing that we are a tithing center, these gifts go out into our community. And there is that beautiful ripple effect that blesses the world. And so I just say thank you, and so it is. So I just want to remind us that today, after service, we are visioning for the qualities that we want in a senior minister. So if you care to stay, that would be lovely. And also, I want to thank everyone who has participated today. Thank you for our wonderful musicians. Thank you, Hillary, for your PowerPoint and announcements. Thank you, Javon, for being the greeter and the basket passer.
Thank you, Rev. Julia.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I couldn't do it without that woman over there, Juanita, and all of you. So thank you all. Thank you, Rev. Lanny, for being our practitioner today. Okay. So what are we taking away with us today? Gratitude. Joy. Compassion. Oneness. All right. Thank you. Love.
Seeing what we want instead of fighting against what we don't.
Oh, excellent. Seeing what we want instead of fighting against what we don't want. Amen. Hallelujah. All right. So let's see. I'm going to invite us to stand for the benediction. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It's this thing called awakening. It's this thing called creating a world that works for all. It's this thing called embodying Christ consciousness.
It's this thing called embodying Christ consciousness.
I know it.
I know it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I sense it
I sense
because
it.
I am it.
Because I am it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. Now for our closing song.